Hello and very good evening to you all. Welcome to our IOSH Qatar session for this evening. Thank you for joining us, and I promise you that we are going to have a very interesting session for this evening. So before we go into the details, I would like to go through the housekeeping quickly. So please make sure that you keep your mics on mute during the session, and then after we finish, if we allow for direct comments or questions, then we will let you know. Turn your view to speaker's view, and then if we allow people to participate, directly, then only one speaker at a time, please. You can choose to keep your camera on or off during the session, as the session will be recorded. If you don't want to be recorded, then you can keep it off. You may also type your questions in the chat room, and I have my colleague here, Valentine, who will be helping on that part. So please make sure that if you have any questions, comments, or even if you want to share your experience, let us know on this important topic. The meeting will be locked maybe after 20 minutes as their IOSH policy. So with that, I would like to introduce our presenter for this evening, Engineer Venkat, and I am pretty sure that most of you knows Venkat well. He is an active member of our IOSH Qatar branch, and he is an active member as well of our committee. Venkat is having a background as an electrical engineer, and he is a certified safety professional from the BCSP, and he is a chartered fellow member of IOSH. He's one of like 6 or 7 fellow members that we have on IOSH Qatar branch. He is passionate about HSE, and he's doing a great job, here as well. So now he's working as a corporate QHSE manager for Gulfar and Mesnet. He's having over 22 years of experience in this field, different industries, serving as IOSH Qatar branch for the last 5 years. As I said, he's an active member, and he's currently serving the role of a vice chair for our branch. The topic for this evening is on resolving conflicts, and I believe that all of us, we are having these kind of challenges on daily basis as safety professionals or as frontliners, because we are there at sites, at different construction locations. So we do have these issues, all the time. We are facing these challenges, we are facing these conflicts, and we need to make sure that we have the skills and the capabilities, how do we handle these kind of situations? Because if you don't have that kind of skills, then the situation might escalate or might go out of your hand easily. So I believe Venkat has a very good experience on that. And with that, I would like to welcome Venkat And please, Venkat.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. Let me start sharing my slide so that.
Venkat,
Okay.
give me 1 second, please. Guys,
Yep.
please mute your mics. Mute your mics. Otherwise, I might have to mute all, and then I would ask the presenter to unmute. Please mute your mics, please.
Yeah,
Okay, Valentine, what I will do, I will mute everyone now, and
Perfect.
then again I will unmute myself and I'll start. Okay, is that okay, Valentine? Now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Is my screen visible?
yeah, your screen is visible.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, good evening to everyone. Usually, you all know that we arrange health and safety related technical presentations in our IOSH Qatar branch uh, in a different topics. For a difference, we thought let's have a session on some soft skills which are very essential for the successful professional life. Not only for professional life, even in the personal life, it will be very helpful, especially for the health and safety professional like us. As Ahmed said, it's an everyday we confront conflicts. Well, this is an objective of my presentation to give you broad overview about in understanding conflicts and effective ways of resolving conflicts. We'll be talking about what is conflicts and understanding the cause for conflict, from where it is coming, and how to map the conflicts and the different methods of effectively handling the conflicts, where I will be talking about Thomas Kelman theory. Then we'll touch upon how to facilitate collaboration, which is one of the best way in conflict resolving. Then we'll also touch upon how it will be helpful for the HSC professionals. Throughout my presentation, I will be touching upon that particular subject. Well, let me start with a question. Have you ever been a part of a situation where people have been disagreeing in a very active manner? I'm sure everyone will say yes. I know that, because each one of us at some point of a time in our life must have experienced a conflict situation, be it in the personal life or in the professional life. For those who are feeling that you have never been part of any conflict, let me start with a small examples. I know all of us HSC professionals, you're going to a site and you see something unsafe, and you believe that the work cannot progress because it is really unsafe. But the engineer comes and says that the construction engineer or project engineer says, no, it is safe and we can continue the work. Is that situation looks familiar to all of you? That means there is a conflict. Probably taking another example, one of your employees says, I cannot work with this particular manager. I have to quit this job. Is this situation looks familiar to you? That is a conflict. Being a manager, sometimes we struggle to manage or convince all the interdepartmental issues. People are not agreeing to our views. Have you ever experienced such kind of a scenarios? That means you are experiencing conflict. Sometimes for us, it looks a really good idea, and we go and propose in the boardroom, stating that this is an idea that I have, but suddenly someone else will come and say that no, this idea doesn't fit for our organization. Is it look the situation looks familiar to you? That means all of us have some point of time have gone through conflict in our life, because conflict is inevitable. It's a fact of life. No two people are same, right? So conflict is not always something to fear also, because sometimes people scared about conflict. It's not something to fear, because conflict brings the change when it is resolved properly. Similarly, conflicts can lead to better ideas, better understanding, and better innovation in the process, better working relationship when it is resolved properly. Similarly, if it is not resolved properly, it can give a negative results in the way we operate the business, the way we operate HSC, or the way we are having the relationships. So it is really, really important for every human being to understand basic of conflicts and how it has to be handled effectively. By the way, the way the safety professionals manage conflict could mean it can make a big difference, because the way we manage the conflict can make a difference between a worker going home safely and never seeing their family again. So we make greater decisions at our workplace. So all of us should understand the larger perspective of conflict, and we should be able to contribute in a better way so that we can handle the conflicts effectively. Well, let's understand what conflict means. Yeah, conflict is what you get when two or more people have differences or disagreement. It may be a real or it may be a perceived one that are not resolved. That is called conflict. I'm sure all of you can cope up with the definition what I'm saying. Yeah, it is mainly a differences or disagreement between two different set of people, different set of group, different set of society. Can be anything. Yeah, it can be real or perceived. What is conflict resolution or resolving conflict? It's what we do to identify and address the conflict in a mature and respectful way. That is called conflict resolution. Yeah. So it is important to understand the conflict and the resolution. Well, look at this image. And the person who is standing on the left hand side, he looks at the figure as 6 and he says it is 6. The same way, the person who is standing on the other side, he says, no, it's not 6, it's 9, right? Can anyone say who is correct? You can text in the chat room. Who is right? You can chat in the chat room so that we can have an interact. Whom do you believe that is correct? True. Yeah, correct. All of you saying both are correct. Exactly. There is nothing right or wrong. Both are correct. Both are correct from their perspective. That is very, very important. Okay. The person who is standing this side, he looks at only 6. The person who is looking here, from his perspective, it looks 9. So from their perspective, what they are saying is correct. Both are correct. When you are as a manager, when you are as a leader, when you are looking about the resolving the conflict, you should bring the perspective to the table, because there are two different set of people are giving a different opinion. As a leader, we should bring the opinions on the table and make them to realize the bigger picture. The same person can be elevated, and you can make them to visualize the bigger picture of this digit. Everyone, both the parties will understand. Then we can come to a common consensus. Yes, there is a conflict. This can be resolved, and both the parties will agree to that. That is a way the conflict resolution works. Well, okay. Why conflict arises? It is very important for all of us to understand from where this conflict comes. As I said earlier, no two human beings are same. We are all coming from different backgrounds. Our needs are different, our values are different, our mindsets are different, our perceptions are different. Each and every one respond or react to the situation is different. Policies and principles by the organization set by each and every organization in the society and nation, it's different. And when we are working in a team, there is a possibility for a misunderstanding, and each and everyone reacts in a different way when you are working in a pressurized situation. Yeah. So if you look at these are the common causes why the conflicts are coming. So when we are into the conflict, resolving conflict, we should also understand from where these conflicts are coming. When two people are working, when we are working in an organization, when you're working in a team, to avoid the conflicts, or when we are resolving the conflict, it is very, very important to understand the other person comes from which background. What is his need? For example, the example what we said, when you're going to a site, you are saying this is unsafe, we cannot proceed the work. Whereas the other person comes and say, no, it's safe. I have executed many times similar job. It is safe. We can continue, right? This is a very common scenario that we all experience in the work site, right? If you look at that particular scenario in detail, you will understand the cause, because our need is the HSE person who is there in the site, his focus is to execute the job safe. Whereas the person who is on the other side, the construction manager or an engineer or a project manager, probably if he's not aligned, and if he's not aligned to the thought that safety is also equal responsibility of the project execution, if he feels, my background is saying that, my focus is only to execute the job, so they need changes the mindset. Probably he comes from different background. Probably at that point of time, he is under pressure that he want to take a decision, he wants to execute the job. The values or perception, the way he look at the things, so everything, each and every, like the example what we see 6 and 9, like every individual look at the problem in a different scenario, different perception. So there is these are the reasons the conflicts are arising. When you see a conflict, the best way is to mapping the conflict. I'll just run through how you need to resolve a conflict is, first of all, you need to define the conflict. That's very, very important. The first step of any, not necessarily a conflict, even if any problem, you need to define the problem. If you can define the problem, 50% of the problem can be resolved if you can write it down. So when there is a conflict, the first important thing is, what is that conflict within our team? What is that conflict within the relationship, that you need to define that. Then who are all the people involved into that particular conflict? It may be one person, it may be more than one person, it may be more than two teams. Okay, we need to identify the people who involved into the conflict, then identify the needs of these people, why the conflicts is raised from the different set of people, what is their need, try to understand, so that you can apply the conflict management strategy that I will be covering in the coming slides, where there are different strategies, successful strategies are there, which all of us should aware, so that we can apply to the situation for an effective management of conflicts. Then you can resolve the conflicts. These are the basic steps that would help to map the conflict. Well, we all know that words are powerful. The words that we use are powerful. It can instigate or it can diffuse the conflict. This is very, very important. As leaders and managers, we should try to identify the conflicts well in advance, and we should try to resolve it. No, conflicts are inevitable, as I said, but at the same time, if you are experienced, mature, the leaders who can identify the conflicts, and they can diffuse the conflict well in advance. Similarly, when you are into the business of resolving the conflict, we should always very focused about what we are saying. There are a few negative words whenever, if you're using in the team, it can bring out conflict, it can instigate conflict. For example, you never did that. So take an example of these kind of words. You never, that's a negative way of expressing your thoughts that can bring out conflict. I told you already, you are not done that. Whatever, leave it. These are the negative words. I never did that, or you never did that. Okay, never mind, I will take care of it. It's only good for you. This kind of negative words, what happens, it can instigate the conflict within the team. So we should be very careful whenever when you're working in the team, when you're working in the project. This can you can relate that with the safety also, because when there is a conflict at the site, or when we are conflict with the project management team or with the senior management, when you're using the negative words, what happens, people will take that in a personal tone. So there is a possibility that can instigate conflict, and you will be struggling to resolve the conflict. Instead, we should always use the positive words, like might I suggest, or can I suggest, in an alternative way. Yeah, how that looks, that sounds very positive, right? If you can, please, could you please do that? And another way of stating is, one option that what I believe is, this is another option that is available. It will give you a kind of a positive expression to the other team members. We can also help you to resolve the problem, and let me explain, or let me clarify the issues, so we understand that your problem. This kind of a positive statements, what happens, people will react in a positive, because this will generate a positive environment, and that can diffuse conflicts before it arises. So it is very, very careful. Now we need to be very, very careful when we are, be it in the personal side or a professional side. If you use the positive words, it can avoid or diffuse the conflicts. We should be very careful about that. I know most of you are aware about this particular statistic that 10% of the conflicts are due to a difference of opinion. Yeah, we all know that. But 90% of the conflicts are coming from the wrong tone of voice. You can relate to our own profession when you are going to the site. Okay, you are seeing something. Okay, or any managers who is doing something against to the company's policies, procedure of health and safety. What do you say? Okay, there is a way to talk to the people, right? So when you are putting up your opinion, there is a conflict. When you see something wrong, there is a conflict. How you are dealing that, what kind of a tone you are using, what kind of a words that you are using, everything that matters in terms of diffusing the conflict and instigating the conflict. So we should be very, very careful, because we are into this business. We always raise a red tag when you go to the site. Our job is to identify the risk, right? So it looks very negative. Some people look at safety as a very negative. Okay, you always find the negative things. Our job is like that. We need to identify the risk. Okay, we go there, identify the risk, but how you are expressing and making the other side of the person to understand that risk. Okay, that really matters. So we need to be very careful in terms of the words that we use, the way the tone that we use. That makes a big difference. Yeah. Effects of conflicts. When we talk about conflicts, it can lead to good results as well as bad results. I would like to burst a myth here. People believe that always the conflicts are bad. Conflicts not are always bad. Okay, it can, if it is really handled effectively, it can bring the enhanced engagement within the team. It can bring increase the production. It can bring trust among the people. It can bring kind of a openness within the relationship or within the team. So not all the conflicts are bad. If you are handling it effectively, conflicts can lead to changes, and the changes can bring improvements within the team or within the relationship. So we should encourage people to openly express their difference of opinion, and it has to be properly listened, and it has to be addressed properly. So conflicts are quite common, but we need to take it very positively, and it has to be addressed in a right proper way, so that the conflicts can bring good results. There are different stages of conflicts. When we talk about conflicts, it's not it will never just appear just like that within the team. It goes through a different process, stages. Okay, I'll just there are 5 different stages that are there in the conflicts. One is the latent stage. Okay, latent stage is for example, you are operating a team, you are leading a team. Okay, no one aware about the conflict within the team. That's a very, very early stage of the latent. That is called, unless you are very experienced leader or manager, you cannot identify that there is a conflict within the team. Yeah, so that's called a latent stage. The second stage is perceived stage, where the team members are aware, okay, there is something wrong within the team. People are not aligning to the common thoughts. There are always disagreements. That is called a perceived. The members start feeling about it. That's called a perceived stage. The third stage is felt stage. The felt stage is about stress and anxiety, where you might have experienced many times. Okay, I don't want to go to office. I don't want to go work with these particular team members. I'm completely stressed out. Every day there is a problem. Okay, that is called a felt stage, where the individuals within the team or in the family start feeling that there is a problem. Okay, that's called the felt stage. And the next stage is the manifest stage. Manifest stage means the conflict is manifested. It's known to everyone. Okay, it is not that within the team, even the outsiders will come to know that there is a problem within this team. They themselves don't talk to each other. They themselves not agreeing to their own the ideas and the suggestions. and their body language, the way they speak, there will be always the negative words comes out of that particular team. That's called a manifest stage. Okay, or not necessarily within the team. You can relate this particular example within your family members. Okay, when there's a husband and wife relationship. Okay, when there is a problem. Okay, you can manage within husband and wife. Sometimes it goes out of the proportion. People outside the your home, people will start feeling that okay, there is a problem between this couple. That is called a manifest stage. And the next stage is aftermath stage. That is, once you resolve the conflict, is it been successful or you didn't manage the successful? That's called the aftermath stage. Basically, as leaders and managers, okay, as a better individuals, we should identify the conflict in a early stage and try to resolve that. That will help. That will be much helpful in terms of managing the business, managing the relationship. That will be more helpful. For that, we need to understand there is a conflict. What are it takes kind of experience. You should go through different the conflict management skill set, right? So always it is better to identify the conflicts well in advance and resolve it. Okay, there are different types of conflicts. Okay, uh, the four different stages, types I would say is, one is the task based conflicts. For example, when you're working in the team, okay, uh, this conflict is about over what to do. Okay, if you're not clear about what to do, that's a kind of a task based conflict. It has to be dealt in. For that, if you're very clear about this type of conflict, you can address it in a very effective way. That's the reason I discovered four different types of conflicts are there. One is a task based conflict. uh, Here the main conflict is what to do. Okay, the second one is the process. Being into the health and safety professional, I'm sure the first two, the task based conflict and the process based conflict, comes almost every day in our routine works. Process based conflict means how to do. Okay, you have a set of process. For example, within our company, how to do confined space work, for example, we have a procedure. Okay, but the person who is executing the job not following the process. So you are going and finding out there is a non-conformity. Okay, so that means it's about the process, the conflict over how we do the job, how we execute the work. So the third thing is status. Who will do? Okay, who is big? I'm big or you're big. If the conflict is over who, that comes under the third category, that is status category. The fourth one is the relationship based. Okay, this is very fundamental. Many times you might have heard that. Okay, especially the health and safety professional, I always tell to my team, uh, being a health and safety professional, you should maintain a good relationship with all the stakeholders. If you're good at that relationships, the if you're avoiding the relationship, the conflicts, what happen, very easily you can avoid all these conflicts, task, process and status. You can resolve it. So it is very important to maintain the interpersonal relationship with the team members, be it in the family, be it in the your society, or be it in the workplace. It is really important to have a good relationship, good interpersonal relationship with the other people, so that we will have a less conflict. And even if the conflict comes, that can be handled much effectively. Yeah. Okay, I would like to explain this particular the model, which is about the conflict management model. This is commonly known as Thomas Kelman model. There are two individuals, Thomas and Kelman, have formed this particular model in the year 1974 about how best we can resolve the conflicts. There are five different. No, every individuals are different. Everyone reacts to the conflicts in a different way. Everyone reacts to the problem in a different way. Everyone will deal the problem in a different way. But however, they're based on the behavior of the individual, we can determine what kind of action that we can take. When we are talking about conflict, there are two um, elements covers, dynamics. One is the cooperativeness, another one is assertiveness. That determines how best you will be managing, or which method that you will be using to resolve the conflict. conflict. One is the assertiveness. Second one is the cooperativeness, how you're cooperating or how you're helpful to others. Assertiveness is more about thinking about ourselves. When there is a conflict, as I said, there will be two different set of people are involved in the conflict. Okay, so this particular thing, avoiding. Okay, avoiding is something, I know you might have seen people when there is a problem, they will disappear. Yeah, so those kind of people fall into this particular segment. That's called avoiding. They never bothered about themselves, or they never bothered about others. Okay, there is no kind of assertiveness. There is no kind of a cooperating. They just run away from the problem. That's it. Okay, that's called avoiding. Just opposite to the avoiding, we call it as a collaborating. Collaborating is considered as one of the best way in terms of managing the conflict, where you concerned about the other person as well as you are concerned about yourself. So there is a win-win situation is covered as part of collaborating. Yeah, we will discuss more about these all four five segments. The another way of the handling the conflict is accommodating. Okay, accommodating the people, those who are very accommodative or high, um, high in cooperativeness. They are more bothered about others. They give least importance to themselves. They accommodate everything. They say anything, you will do that. Okay, there is a problem, they say you will accept the problem and you will move away. So that's called accommodating, where you less bothered about you and more bothered about others. It's kind of a lose win situation. Okay, just opposite to the accommodating, that's called competing. Okay, it's about, there are people you might have seen. Okay, there are more concerned about themselves. Anything happen, any situation, any issue, they are always right. They try to prove that they are right, and they want to win an argument. They always wanted to win the conflict. So such kind of a people, we call it as a competing. And there you focus, they focus only about themselves. They don't bother about others, which is not good also. So best way is the compromising is, you both of them to come together in a common stage. It's not a win-win, it's not a lose-lose situation, but it's a common conscious call that both the parties are taking. That's called a compromise. But one of the best way is collaborating, is considered as one of the best way in terms of managing the conflicts. Well, let's discuss about all these five methods: avoiding, accommodating, competing. I've added one more the method that is called opposing. I will explain that in the coming slides. Compromising and collaborating. Right? Let's talk about avoiding. Okay, you might have seen that in the quadrant on the left hand side down. You've seen avoiding. Okay, when issues are not important, and the best way is to ignore it. Okay, it's very minor issue. Okay, it happens. Okay, as a leader, when you grow in the organization, you deal with a lot of the complex organization, complex issues. Sometimes you may have to ignore and avoid the conflict, though it is not recommended all the time, because when you are ignoring, what happens is uh, the conflict remains as it is. You are not solving the problem. The problem is going to be there. But again, you can park it for a time being, and you can postpone. Let's consider this particular problem maybe next month, or after next quarter we can review and solve the conflict. You can do that, but again, it is subject to the type of the conflict. Is it a very smaller issue and it is not important? Then you can think about avoiding. Second thing is accommodating. Accommodating, as I said, the people who are accommodating, there are different types of conflicts and there are different types of people. So these two combines and takes two elements comes together to take a good decision in terms of conflict management. So accommodating means when maintaining a relationship. Okay, if you want to underwrite all other things, above all, relationship comes into the picture. So there you have to accommodate. Like, but the best example is husband and wife. Okay, or family conflicts. uh, you can just push all the problems away, and you can give weightage to your family. Yes, my relationship is important, then I will just leave away all other problems. When you are accommodating your family members, and you are sacrificing so many other things because of family. Okay, that's called accommodating. This can even happen at the workplace also. It depends on the kind of a scenario. Okay, when you want to accommodate some people emotionally, if you want to accommodate where you need to take a decision. This kind of the method you can practice to resolve the conflict. Third one is competing. Okay, competing is a kind of situation where, for take an example of a sports, or two runners are running. Okay, everyone wants to win. Both the parties would like to win, right? There is a conflict. Okay, there you cannot go for accommodating or give away. You have taken the decision that I have participating in this conflict, that is a match, that I want to win, isn't it? There you cannot go for any other option. My goal is only to win. Okay, so it's a competition. There you should focus only about you, right? But when it is a team, you need to accommodate everyone. Whereas it is about individual, it's about a competition. You need to think about only you and take a decision accordingly. If it is a competition-based kind of a conflict, yeah. The fourth one is forcing. Okay, I have added this particular thing. It is not there in the Thomas Kilman model. Why? Because especially this will be helpful for the health and safety professionals. We as a health and safety professionals, we do a lot of decisions. Okay, especially in the emergency scenario. Okay, in the emergency situation, you cannot bring out everyone and take a call. You, based on your experience, based on your skill set, you may have to take some decisions, and that's called forcing. Mainly the type of leadership is, a leader uses power to resolve the differences. When there is two different teams are coming out an issue, you want to resolve it immediately for a larger benefit. Then you need to tell the people, yes, stop here. I need to resolve it. You do this. You don't do this. Okay. You need to take a decision and solve. That's called a forcing method, especially when there is an emergency situation. Okay. This particular method will be very much helpful. Okay. Next one is compromising. Compromising is, this image talks about everything. Yeah. Many times it happens. When a conflict happens, everyone will feel that, just like that image what we discussed, 6-9, right? From his point of view, it is right. From the other person point of view, he is also right. Both are right. But for common concerns, what action that we are taking? This can happen in the team also. When you are leading a team, what happens? The two different set of team members will come and give an idea. No, he will say, no, what I'm doing is correct. The other person will do say, no, what he is doing is correct. As a manager, how you are resolving the conflict? You need to, see the bigger picture. You need to take both the people. Both the people has to compromise to an extent and come to a common consensus for the larger benefit of the organization. Right? The next one is collaborating. Collaborating is one of the best way of managing the conflict. It's best proven way of managing the conflicts. Okay, where it happens is you bring everyone, bring all the perspective to the table. Yeah, bring all the perspective to the table. Weight it. Okay, which is good, which is not good. Get the consents from all the team members. Then you move forward. That is called collaboration. Larger organizations that always have this kind of a principle. If you look at many organizations, collaboration they have as one of the values of the organization. Why they are having this as one of the value of the organization is, whenever there is a decision making, they will involve all the stakeholders. Yeah, everyone will bring come to the table and they will try to put their own ideas. Okay, it may be a difference of opinion, but they have to express their ideas, and the moderator or the leader or manager will moderate and try to take a conscious call and get a consent from all the team members, all the stakeholders, so that as an organization we are very collaborative, because the collaborative method brings a lot of perspective and it gives a lot of opportunities for the team building. It gives a lot of opportunities for expressing the thoughts of the team members. It gives it makes the people to trust on the organization or other on the leader or manager. When we are having this kind of exercise, what happens? The team members will have a trust on you. Okay, my manager is asking me to express my idea. So what happened? In future, you do not bring out any kind of a conflict, because he is also collaborated into that particular problem statement, and he has already given his input to the problem solving. So it is always a good idea to have a collaborative model. However, practically many cases it may not be possible. In that cases, you can follow other 4 steps, like 4 or 5 steps. Okay, that will bring out the best method in terms of resolving the conflict. Okay, Collaborating always brings win-win situations. Okay, now you decide where you stand, because as I said, every individual is unique. Every individual's behavior is different. Every individual reacts or responds to a situation in a different way. Okay, you decide, you look at this, the Thomas Kelman model, and you see, take an example of any of the issue. How did you behave for that particular conflict? Did I avoided the situation and run away? That means it's not good. You need to avoiding the conflict. It is not at all good, because you are running out of the problem, you're running away from the problem. Okay, that's not good at all. You have to involve and resolve the conflict as a manager, as a leader, or any kind of professional. Even into the family, if there is a problem, okay, within the family, we do have a conflicts. Okay, when there is a conflict, you cannot just postpone and avoid the conflict. What happens one day, that will be blown out of proportion, and that can result in the disaster. So it is very, very important you acknowledge the conflict, don't avoid the conflict, which is not good. Second one is competing. Competing, think about that. And how many situations that you try to be always the saying that you're always right. Never hear what other team members is saying, what our team members are saying. Okay. Or you've been into that particular quadrant. That means you may have to develop a skill in terms of listening others, so that be as a team member, when you're grown up as a leader, when you're growing as a leader, so you can be a better leader, better manager when you're listening to others. Accommodating, okay, are you so accommodative and you don't bother about yourself? So very competitive, you are very competitive, but you don't consider yourself into the problem. Okay, you always, whatever others says, you just accept that. Mainly the people, those who are not much in the competence is low, people will be always accommodating everyone. Okay, so when you are good at your competence, then you can be slowly moving out of the accommodating, you will be moving to the collaboration mode, because when you are so competent competence, you will listen to others. When you are not competent, what happens, you will accept everything whatever others are saying. So that is also not good, right? So which quadrant that you are falling into, or you are avoiding problems, you are competing or accommodating, or just compromising, or you're collaborating, you decide, and you work on this model which will be suitable for you, right? Again, finding a root cause. When you are as a manager, or uh, or within the family, when there is a problem happens, okay, don't just avoid. What you are seeing on the top of the iceberg is just opinions. Okay, when we are sitting in the boardroom or talking about some issues, whatever we are talking, it's all just opinions. You should not take decision just because of that. You may have to go below that reasons. You need to understand what is that particular individual is making that particular what made that individual to make that particular statement, what kind of a culture he is coming from, what kind of a need and values that he is carrying. Okay, what is his experience background, so that if you consider everything, you can give a very good solution for the conflict, and you can emerge with a better change management within the company or within the family, that will give a good result in a long term. Yeah. Okay, since the collaboration is very, very important, the method of handling the conflict management, I just wanted to touch upon that particular thing. When you are facilitating a collaboration, okay, there are a few important things that you need to consider. Encourage all involved parties to express. That's very important. Okay, there is a conflict, especially in the organization, that it happens. Okay, there are different the complex organization, a different set of departments are involved. You want to implement something that nobody accept that. You call everyone to the board and try to understand what is their opinion about that. Okay, listen to their opinions, or the disagreement. That is very, very important. Then understand, if you are wrong, if you sometimes what happens, not necessarily that we are always right. When in the collaboration method, if you felt that what you suggested, what you have opinionated, it's not correct, please accept it, it's wrong. Okay, admit it and take the responsibility, and give the other person the credit for giving a good solution or good suggestion. Okay, search for solution as a team. Okay, when you are searching for a solution as a team, you will get a lot of innovative ideas, suggestion, everything will come. then reach out a consensus. Okay, once everyone one person gives another suggestion, another person gives another suggestion. Once you consolidate that, get a consent from all the respective stakeholders. Is that okay for you? Okay, so that what happens? You are working on resolving the conflict. Okay. Whenever we are involving in the collaborative the discussions, okay, never ever allow the emotions to consume over the politics. It happens when we are talking on two different opinions, two different disagreement. Okay, it is a human tendency that we give importance to the emotions. We don't talk on the subject. This happens many times. Okay, being a health and safety professional, you might have experience. You go and tell something which is not safe, and the other person goes and tell, "Oh, no, 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 this person is not good. Okay, this safety officer is always stops the job." Your intention is not to stop the job. Okay, your intention is to make the job in a much better safe way. You want to execute the job, but the other person took it emotionally. I'm doing a job, this person is coming and stopping. Okay, he took it very emotionally. Okay, we should not take things emotionally. Logically we should consider is what is right and what is wrong. Accordingly that you need to facilitate. Always give respectful, empathetic about others. That is very, very important. Okay, when we are talking about a solution for a conflict, we should respect others. Even it is not a good idea, acknowledge that idea what others are sharing, or a disagreement what are they saying. You should acknowledge that so that the other person will feel, yes, my point is accepted in the forum. Yeah, stay away from blame or accusation, because our intention is to resolving the conflict, not creating another conflict. Okay, that's very important. So whenever we call for a meeting to resolve a problem, okay, do not blame or accuse somebody. Okay, our intention is to not to blame anybody, to but whereas to solve the conflict. Yeah. Okay, so in summary, I would like to hope I'm on time. Okay, summary, we as individuals, as leaders, conflicts are unavoidable in every situation of our life. As a leader, we must resolve conflicts as much as possible. We should never run away from the problem. We should be part of the problem solving. With that, I'd like to thank everyone. I'm open for questions, or if anyone would like to share any incident or where best for that particular incident, how best we can handle the conflict. I'm open for questions.
Okay, thanks, Venkat. Thanks, El. We have a few questions which came from the audience here, and let's just run through it, and let's see if we have more time for a scenario for someone to share an idea of how he had been able to resolve conflict, similar to what Venkat talked to us about. So the first question is, okay, I think this is more of a comment than a question. Absolutely right, 90% of the wrong tone is used, losing reputation and considering HSE practitioners as toxic. We must be problem solvers rather than blame creators. You are absolutely correct. I think Venkat was very clear here. People try to point fingers. When you point fingers, you don't resolve conflict. You make the situation more toxic. Now, the second question, that was more of a comment, not a question. The second goes to Venkat. All work-related conflicts should be kept inside working area or inside project boundary. Venkat.
Yeah. So what I understand from the question is talking about it should not affect the relationship. Yeah. So work-related issue should be kept in the work-related problem. Okay, it should be dealt as a work-related issue. That is the reason we all say that professional. Okay, we are professional. We are working in a profession. Okay, if you are a health and safety profession, you deal it professionally. Your responsibility is identify the risk, what is right, what is wrong. You put across into the table. Okay, if people are not understanding, try to bring onto the table and try to create awareness to the team. Okay, this is what right, this is not right. Okay, then people will understand, but never ever take it to into a personal never make that as a personal issue, and don't spoil your personal relationship. I would always recommend.
Okay, thanks, Venkat. I think some more questions are coming up. This person is talking, I think this is more of a statement. Conflict arise when HSE report the unsafe acts or conditions. Certain engineers expect HSE to support and give solutions, but don't give credit. Yeah, you're correct. Conflict arises as a result of so many things, not just a solution or this. It could be also potential problems arising in the past. Okay, let's run through some other questions that came up.
Just to touch upon that particular subject to all the HSC professionals, only thing is never ever take things on a personal side. Okay, if things are we are working for an organization. Organization has policies and protocol. Okay, you do have certain limitations. Okay, every individual has certain limitations. Your job is to focus on identifying the risk and if something unsafe you find, there is a process within your company. If you find unsafe, what to do, right? Just follow that. Just follow that. You don't need to argue with the people. If your company authorizes you to stop the work, you stop the work. Yeah. If your company doesn't authorize you to stop the job, you have to inform somebody over phone. Please do that. So you need to follow the policies and protocols so that you avoid the conflict. Never ever things, again I'm saying, take into a personal spoil the personal relationship. That is not good. That will spoil your mental health. It will bring a lot of stress and anxiety at the workplace.
Perfect. There's another comment here. If there's a good relationship with all in the company, there's less chances of arising conflict. If it arises, it can be resolved. You have a point, but there's more. You can't have everybody. I've been on the same page. Venkat has already said it in his slide. It's very rare that you have people participating in the collaborative way. Next question, what would you do if your manager gave you a negative feedback on the way you approach a problem?
Yeah, it's very, very important as an individual and professionals, you should know how to take the feedback. Okay, that's very important. It's not a conflict. It's no way it is related to the conflict. Again, I'm saying if somebody is giving you a feedback, you should try to listen to that, from what perspective they are giving the feedback, and try to improve upon that. That makes sense, I would say. Right?
Perfect. Correct. Yeah. And another comment here, I think this is more of a comment. Collaboration is effective only when team members are on the same level. But with the senior member or line manager when the senior member or line manager is in team, everybody gives in because of fear or consequences. It's not actually the situation, but Venkat, you can throw more light on this.
So it's not always, because for example, you are a manager, okay, you are not allowed to call a meeting with the general manager or a vice president of the organization. Anyhow, you are not going to do that. You will be doing with the managers at your level. You will be calling for a meeting and resolving the conflict. When the conflict is elevated to the next level, next set of leadership will take care of that. Yeah.
Okay. The next question, does the model help us identify the characteristics of people involved in a conflict or a way to resolve it?
Basically, that model helps you to identify what kind of behavior that you are exhibiting towards it. It is not for others. Others cannot tell. When you are into a problem, if you know this model, you can relate yourself. Okay, there was a problem. I didn't handle it properly. I just run away from the problem. That means I am falling into this category. I need to improve. When there was a problem, you can relate in the past. Okay, there was a problem. I called all the stakeholders. I conveyed the message very clearly to them, and everyone there expressed their opinions, and I solved the problem. So I am involved. I was into the collaborative mode. So you can decide which kind of a behavior that you are demonstrating when there is a problem. So that will be more of a self-reflection. This model will help you to identify.
Okay, I think one of that question, I think this has already been answered by our branch coordinator, Catherine. We are asking for material slides. We have an IOSH microsite webpage for Qatar branch. You can access all this within the next few days. The next question, how to deal with a situation where a seniority card is used over the logical solution. Not sure how.
Yeah, in an organization that it happens. Okay, sometimes leadership takes a call. Okay, that's one of the method I said, forcing. Okay, so leadership takes a call. Okay, but calculatively that leadership is taking a call, we don't know. But some cases it happens. But again, you need to relate yourself to that particular problem. How much you are going to affect with that decision. Okay, then accordingly you need to take a call yourself. Okay, should I stay in this company or should I move away to another company? or should I stay in that particular position, or should I involve myself into progress into the next level? That's your call, because every individuals are different. Every individuals will handle the conflicts or problem in a different way. How much that you are going to be affected by that decision, you need to calculate accordingly. That you need to call.
Okay, now another question again. I think this is short. We will try to run through because we might be running out of time. What's the best way to prevent conflict, please? I think I'll just run through this. The slides are very clear. Venkat has talked about it. You have to decide which is the best method for you, whether to accommodate, to avoid, or to collaborate, or to compromise. It's up to you. The next one is, how can we resolve conflict arising from not following the right reporting line? Venkat.
How come? Could you please repeat?
How can we resolve conflicts arising from not following the right reporting line?
Okay. So it's more of, I've talked about three different, four different types of conflict. Like, is it a what to do issue, or how to do issue, and who to do issue? It's about, looks like, how to do issue. Within your company, what is the reporting protocol? Okay, if it is not there, okay, you as a leader or manager, you need to establish a process saying that, okay, this is a reporting protocol for the company. This is a procedure. Get a concurrence, create a policy and procedure, get a concurrence from the senior management. Okay, this should be the reporting protocol. Then you ask for people to follow that, right? When you have already having a procedure, use that as a tool to talk to the people. If that is not being practiced, okay, there is a deviation from this particular procedure. This is how educate the people. This is how we need to do the reporting, all these things. That's why I see that particular question. Hope I have answered.
Yeah, perfect. Stephen Francis, what you had, yes, more of the comments. So we would run through this. We'll get back to you. Roque, yours was also a comment. I would consider a combination of two or more methods combined, because there's no single method to suit different cases. Yeah, I think Venkat was very
like I said, no, there are two. One is the different models of managing the conflict. Another one is different set of people. Okay, different kind of a conflicts. Okay, everything, there is no single problem solving method. Okay, based on the type of problem, we may have to use the different method of solving the conflict.
Okay, just two more questions, please, guys. Please, I think we've gone beyond the time, but we'll take the last two questions. Okay. A manager in the company is the right hand of an owner. That manager is thinking safety causes delay in job completion. How there's a conflict? Here there's a conflict. How to deal with such a manager?
Okay, that's touching the core objective of a HSC professionals. We are here to influencing the leadership. Okay, if all the managers are following the health and safety, you and me are not required in this profession. We are here to influence the leadership. That is one of the core responsibility of the health and safety professional. People don't look at the things the way we look at things. Okay, we may have to educate them continuously. It's not a one-day job. It is a continuous thing. Today you say something, don't expect tomorrow everyone will follow in your organization. There will be one person, again he will repeatedly doing the mistake. It is a repeated thing that you need to keep on educating, bombarding. That's our role, basically.
Okay, I think that's all for today for the questions. Now we have just one opportunity for someone to unmute and give us a scenario where he has had to deal with a conflict following one of the methods that Venkat just talked about. We'll try to keep it brief, maximum 4 minutes, please.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it. Unmute and tell us about such, so that people can learn from this, and then we'll take it up from there. Sorry, no more questions, no more questions. One person to help us with this.
Venkat, can I go?
Yeah, go ahead, Roque.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is a little bit, I found it challenging, so I just want to when it comes to providing food facilities like catering services, there are multiple nationalities are there, and different tastes, varieties, different levels of people, and food restrictions are not, outside food is not allowed in the dormitory. Supply means one of them, don't want to name me. So we cannot bring outside food. Inside food, if what is served, we cannot cater to all the people. There are some money issues also where, some part is taken by the dormitory and given to our outsourced contractors, so it becomes less quality. And people resort to even cooking, self-like by avoiding, and budget is also going very high also, more than the government norms also. So it's a very challenging issue where the people are not eating, suppose, so their money is cut, or money goes. And how do we solve this type of thing where really I found the taste, even if frankly speaking, even I might say, my wife or my mother or my brothers had different tastes within family. So this is a big unit. And how to solve such a everybody's taste.
See, I would say it's you need to look at, because there's no one single parameter involved into this project. It is like a kind of a project that you need to take up and get the feedback from all the people, stakeholders. What is, because you have a budget issue, you have a restriction issue, you have a taste issue that it depends on the different nationalities. Okay, then what is your limit that you can do? That is also there, right? So you need to cover all the elements. What is best for the organization? There are two things: what is best for the organization and what is best for the individuals. Okay, for example, you give salary hike, 10,000 real for everyone. Probably that is helpful for the individuals, and probably the organization point of view, if you look at, probably they may feel, okay, it is over. It will be overburden the organization. So you need to look at the consideration of all aspects. What is best available? You can go for some kind of catering agencies who can do that. Is there any catering parties are available locally?
No,
You can
outside
explore.
cooking is not allowed.
You can bring out, otherwise allow the people to, you need to bring out all the options first, then which is suitable for your organization, that you need to take a call. Okay, because we cannot give a single solution without, it's a very complex problem. Okay, I know that, I understand that problem. It's very complex problem. For that, you need to involve, okay, workers representative. There are Filipino workers are there, Indian workers are there, Bangladeshi workers are there. Bring them their workers representative.
African
What kind of a
workers,
food? Yeah.
multiple.
Then you define the budget issue. Okay, this is a budget I have. Okay, I can only prepare food within this. Somebody cannot expect the food at the workplace in a very highly priced. So you need to define this is a limit for the organization. Then you tell me accordingly what best we can do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Now, thanks, Mr. Venkat. He was doubling as a presenter today, as well as a part of the IOSH team. He's done an excellent job. On behalf of the entire IOSH Qatar team, we thank you for your participation today. We do sincerely appreciate it. I think also people are stuck in the stadium trying to catch the matches live. So this is one of the challenges we had doing this today. Now, to wrap it up, I will check whether Ahmed is here. In the absence of Ahmed, Venkat, can you give a closing remark?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Valentine. Before that, may I request everyone to switch on your camera? We will take a group picture. Yeah. I would suggest, you will receive a feedback email to all of you. Please give your feedback. How was the training? And if you want to give a feedback to me to improve in terms of delivering the presentation, I would consider in my future presentations.
Excellent presentation.
Thanks, Ru. Thank you. If someone would like to switch on your camera, please switch on. This is a last call to take the group picture. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. With this, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to all the individuals who have participated in this, attended this branch meeting. Thank you very much. Without your presence, I'm sure that you like the presentation. You give your feedback so that as a branch we can evolve and improve in the further meetings. And thanks to our branch chair Ahmed for supporting, encouraging, and making sure that it's really hard to bring the people together in person. Let's see how best it is when it is going to happen. Thank you very much, Ahmed, and thank you, Valentine, for your support and being a Q&A moderator. Thank you, Catherine, for supporting us. Have a great evening. Thank you.